To help come against the spirit of addiction, it is important to, especially in the realm of prayer, of working with biblical prayer, one of the most helpful notions has been, for me, the idea that God is good all the time and that God isn't a feeling. So let me get more into what that means about the feeling part. We go throughout life often attempting throughout our days to make something better. We're trying to make our mood better, our body healthier, better fitting, our attitude better, better living situation, a better life for our kids and their future, a better world. And somehow in that striving, we tend to forget that the physical feeling and the emotional feeling of what is good, of what's good, gets convoluted and mixed up with the goodness of God or true love or what is actually good. So the example in the realm of addiction is that we tend to have an aversion. We are avoiding something and simultaneously self-medicating. We're trying to get through a certain pain or trauma, or we're just addicted to the feeling of what the drug gives us. And often our bodies go through something and it kind of becomes a trauma zone, and it's hard for our spirit to reside in it comfortably. And because the body's always going through changes from birth to death, it doesn't really ever become a truly comfortable place, but it can be a companion in the journey, not an enemy. And in our society, at least in the one I grew up in, it tends to seem like the body is an enemy, and we have to control it, and we have to judge it, and we have to lie to it, and we have to stress it out, and we have to numb it out. And the numbing part is also tied in with the emotional aspect of this, and that's where we find ourselves getting prescribed to drugs for prescription. I love the quote: before you diagnose yourself as depressed, make sure that you just aren't in fact surrounded by assholes. We diagnose ourselves and then we take these prescription drugs, or we drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes, or go for runs or do crazy diets because we're trying to feel an actual specific feeling. In the addict world, the reason it goes awry is because you end up needing more of the drug to experience less of the feeling. Whereas in the prayer world, your prayers become more potent the more you learn how to pray. And so once you kind of become a very refined conduit for tapping into source, and to truth, and to healing, and to miracles, and to God, and to what that means, which in many cases doesn't require an attachment or a feeling, or an escape. There's nothing to escape. There's nothing to prove. There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to lose. It's very, it's easy to be like transparent and respectful because it's just so blatantly loving, kind of. And where I really kind of started understanding this this from is within the parenting realm. When having my child, you know, it's kind of like I think that it's might kind of be like the idea that God's love in the parental sense is that it feeds all of us, even if we're being bad or good, right? If we're in a bad mood or a good mood, or if our kid's in a bad mood or a good mood, we still have to prepare them a meal and feed them, regardless of if it makes us feel disrespected or not, because the kid still needs to eat and doesn't know how to prepare food for themselves yet, and it's our job to not get offended. And I think that God's a lot like that. Like, it just kind of continues to give us certain things that we just kind of foundationally, fundamentally need. And that is an unconditional love. It's not requiring us to change. You know, the addict gets to breathe air just as much as the sober person gets to breathe air. They get to walk outside and take a deep breath just as much as the next one. And so once we get past the physical, the idea that we have to physically feel a certain way and calling that bad or good, and being attached to maintaining that all the time, I think the only thing that you can maintain all the time is the belief and trust in God's goodness.